That's a long chapter. Did you read the Jagai and Madhai? The deliverance is fitting to me. And all the Jagai and Madhais who are assembled, seen or unseen, physically. This is Madhyakanda, chapter 13. Almost only everybody. No. They have to read English. Because it's too complicated if I translate. So I offer my humble obeisances in the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda, whose elevated arms reach down to their knees. Their complexions are as brilliant as molten gold. They have initiated the congregational chanting of the holy names of Krishna. They have exquisite elevated lotus petal eyes. They are the maintainers of the entire universe. The topmost brahmanas, protectors of the religious principles of the age. The well-wishers of every living entity and the embodiments of mercy and magnanimity. All glories to Gaurasunda, all glories to Sri Nityananda, who is served by everyone. Sri Chaitanya is always performing his pastimes in Lord Vic, but they are not visible to every eye. To see the Lord as the ordinary people of Navadvip continue to see the Lord as Nimai Pandit. Any change in the Lord's activities or character was imperceptible to them. However, the merciful Lord reveals himself to the fortunate devotees according to their realizations in devotional service. He hides himself to the outside world of materialists. It's important that we understand that materialistic people who are perceiving their knowledge through the material senses, to the mind, the Lord is not visible. They have not the fortune. And he hides himself to the outside world of the materialists. So this is a difference. Even today, or always eternally, he is performing his pastimes in Navadvip, or in Vrindavan, or in Ayodhya, wherever he appears. But to our eyes, we cannot see. And we go to Vrindavan, we think we are in Vrindavan. Where Krishna is, yes, he is, but we cannot see him. We go to Navadvip, we go to Mayapur, we think This is Krishna's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, eternally staying there. But we cannot see. So that's because it's very important to go with someone who has eyes to see, with advanced devotees, pure devotees. And one day, the Lord suddenly expressed a certain feeling to Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. Listen, Nityananda and Haridas. Travel everywhere and tell people about my teachings. Go to every house and beg everyone of this. Chant Krishna's name, worship him, and cultivate the science of Krishna consciousness. Just repeat this only and make them chant only Krishna's name. At the end of the day, come and give me your reports. Those who do not comply to our requests, I will come personally and cut them to pieces with my Sudarshan Chakra. This is the mercy of the Lord. We think, oh, how can the Lord do like this? But he's the most merciful incarnation. But he says like this, What he is cutting to pieces, the false ego, all the ignorance. The Vaishnavas were very amused to hear the Lord's orders. There was no question of anyone trying to change any of it. Considering that Nityananda has accepted these orders with utmost respect. Anyone who disregards them is demented. If someone only serves Advaita Acharya, but does not worship Sri Chaitanya, Advaita Acharya himself will destroy him. So, Nityananda, and also important to understand whom he sent out to distribute the name to all. They're not beginners, ignorant. They are not, they are absolutely realized. Krishna himself, Nityananda, expansion, and Haridas, the most advanced devotee. He sent those devotees out to beg them, please accept. Nowadays, we're going out, we have not understood anything. We have not the eyes to see the Lord. We do not name the power of the name. Name and Krishna is not different. And we preach. But what can we preach? This is only on the external. So under the order of the Lord, Nityananda Haridas Thakur, the Gurus were on their way in a blissful mood, with Sri Chaitanya's order as their prime inspiration. So they visited every house, going all over Nadia and requested all. Chant the holy name of Krishna and worship him. He is everyone's shelter, friend, and most treasured wealth. Practice Krishna consciousness with undivided intent. So wearing the robes of renunciates, they approach the householders many of whom invited them in for food, but they only replied, I only beg of you to chant Krishna now, worship him, cultivate devotion, service. This is all they repeated and went on their way. The buyers received the instruction well with faith in being impressed by their forged features. They replied happily to them, expressing their pleasure. I will do it, I will do it. Someone else said, you do have mental preparations to do the wrong advice of others. You have become mad because of bad company. When you go on Harinam, someone will think like this. Why have you come to infect us with your madness? Good and healthy persons have gone mad because of Nimai Pandit's bad influence. Those who were disallowed entry in the Srivas Pandit's house to see Lord Chaitanya dance during the kirtan would react insolently to this saintly pair. They shouted, beat them, beat them. Still others said, maybe these two are informers of dacoits. And under their present pretext and garb, they're collecting information. So why should saintly men act in this manner? If they come this way again, I will hand them over to the law. So even at this time, Navadvips were also quite ignorant persons, like nowadays also. It would be nice if some pure devotee would enter parliament and chant, you all chant together, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I would say, that's mad. These comments only amused Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. They did not feel hurt or daunted. They simply continued to preach Sri Chaitanya's message every day, and upon returning, described everything to Sri Chaitanya. One day they came across two fully intoxicated drunkards, giant in size and looking like the worst kind of pirates. So very terrible, big bodies they had. Their days of wicked acts were unending, and there is not a sin they had not committed. Although born in a Brahmin family, they consumed liquor and beef, robbed, stole, burned other person's house. They disobeyed the court injunctions against them and always avoided appearing before the office of law. All day they engaged in their wicked activities. The little drunks rolled about on the public streets, and when one caught the other unawares, he pounded him with his fists. People watched this fun, always keeping a distance. Just then Nityananda and Haridas arrived there. The two drunkards sometimes embraced each other affectionately. In the next moment, they would pull each other's hair. They used the most filthy and abusive language upon each other. They ran to the good name of a Brahmana class in Navadvip, the ground. Intoxication can ruin the life and character of anyone. Although they had committed every conceivable sin, they were still free from offense against Vaishnavas. They were just always intoxicated and had no opportunity to criticize Vaishnavas. Such company where Vaishnavas are offended may consist of highly pious persons. However, still, all their good fortune will be diminished by Vaishnava aparadha. If even an assembly of renunciates and sannyasis offends Vaishnavas, such an assembly is more irreligious than a group of drunkards. So we should be careful. Even we call ourselves devotees. This is even more dangerous if you commit offenses than one drunkard, because he's in ignorance. Like animals who eat other animals, they are innocent because they're animals. But if you are human and you kill other humans, then you are a very sinful person. In the same way, if you consider you are a saint or a sannyasi or whatever position or Vaishnava, and you commit offense against the pure Vaishnava, it will be punished very sincerely. They are more irreligious than a group of drunkards. For the drunkards, there's still a chance of salvation. But for those who are critical of Vaishnavas, there's no hope of liberation. In spite of studying the scriptures, such persons may not become purified. And further, if such persons criticize Nityananda, then they are doomed. The two drunks were still very much intoxicated when Nityananda and Haridas saw them from a distance. Nityananda turned to one of the crowd in the street and asked, "Who are these two men? Why do they act like this?" They replied, "Goswami, they are brahmanas with very good and noble parents from a very good and aristocratic family. Their family dates back many generations now, has a spotless reputation. Nevertheless, these two are the black sheep of their family, and from their beginnings, they have engaged in all sorts of sinful activities. Seeing their character, their family and society have ostracized them, and from that time on, they have lived independently as outcasts in the company of other drunkards. So they terrorized all the residents of Navadvip. All fear that they may be the next target on their passion and looting. Everyone knows that they are capable of everything and anything. When Nityananda heard these facts about the two scoundrels, his heart melted. He immediately felt great compassion for them. He began to consider how he could save them. He thought, Sri Chaitanya incarnated only to liberate and save the most fallen souls. Who is more degraded than these two? The Lord has appeared, hiding his real identity. The ordinary folks are unaware of this, and they foolishly deride him. If my Lord is merciful to these two, and saves them, then the entire world will acknowledge his supreme potency. I, Nityananda, can prove to be a real servant of Sri Chaitanya only when I persuade my Lord to awaken in these two their original Krishna consciousness. So they are so drunk now that they are oblivious of everything, even themselves. If they could become similarly engrossed in chanting the name of Krishna and could cry my Lord's name, then my preaching and traveling would be successful. So, in the shadows of these two sinners, as much as falls on them out of fear, people now bathe in the Ganga with their clothes on. If by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya I would purify and reverse their present condition, and when people saw them again, they would feel as clean as if having taken a bath in the Ganga. And only will I become truly worthy of my name. Sri Nityananda's glory in mercy is infathomable. He has advented only to save the most fallen souls. After thinking so, to himself he expressed his idea to Haridas Thakur. How rotten they are. Although born in a Brahmin family, they are so devoted. There's no way they can escape the worst kind of hellish punishment. So the Muslim guards who whipped you almost to death were forgiven by you. So now in the case of these two, if you are compassionate to them, then certainly they can be saved. So this Haridas Thakur was whipped on 22 marketplaces. Usually nobody can survive. But Haridas did not die. So, but even they threw him the Ganga. He went into a meditation he had, because the two persons who were whipping him, they said, if you not die, the leader of the Muslims will kill us. And Haridas said, okay, I will. And he met deep in Samadhi. He was like lifeless. They could not detect any life in him. So they threw him in the Ganga. But just for some distance, he was floating Ganga and went out and went back again to this. And they saw him. And the Muslim leader saw him also. And he was very impressed. And they say he stopped to punish him. So when Haridas was so compassionate with them, that he blessed them give them mercy. So Nityananda, he begged like this. You are so compassionate, and certainly they can be saved if you are so compassionate to them also. And the Lord will certainly agree if you plead to Him on their behalf. The Lord Himself has said that He cannot refuse you, how He does. Let the whole world see the magnanimity of our Lord, that He is the Savior of even this too. Just as the Bhagavatam sings about the liberation of Ajamila. Let all the three worlds witness something just as unique. Now, Haridas Thakur is all too familiar with Nityananda's nature. So he now considered that these two sinners were as good as saved. Haridas said, listen, my Lord, your desire is certainly also the Lord's desire. You deceive me by saying I can speak to the Lord because I am an animal and I need to be deceived. You're doing this repeatedly only to teach me of my lowly position. So Haridas considered himself a very low servant, like animal. Smiling benevolently, Nityananda embraced Haridas and spoke softly to him. Let us repeat to these drunkards the Lord's message, for which purpose we are roaming the streets. The Lord has instructed us to tell everyone, and especially the most degraded persons, to chant Krishna's name. Although it is simple to repeat his message, whether they follow or not is dependent upon the Lord. So having decided, this is a very important point, if we preach. We may not be accepted, or we may be rejected, we may call us mad or whatever, but we are doing just following the order of our spiritual master, of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. We are not going for the result. We are just doing our duty. This is service. We should have full faith that the Lord, Guru Gauranga, they are standing behind him. So some will accept, some will not. This doesn't matter. But we are just doing service. This is service. So no false ego should be there. Nowadays, it's very hard to find such persons like Haridas. And of course, Nityananda, not to say. Having decided, Nityananda and Haridas walked together towards the two drunkards. The pious and saintly persons nearby tried to dissuade them. Do not venture near them. If they catch you, then you may even lose your life. We live in fear of this too. How do you muster up the courage of approaching them? You do. How do you muster up the courage to approach them? You cannot expect them to understand the holy position of a sannyasi. Is to murder brahmanas and slaughter cows. Is to murder brahmanas and slaughter cows. Undeterred and joyously, both continued walking towards the sinners, chanting Krishna's name. And they were close enough for them to hear the Chaitanya's message. They called out, "Follow Krishna's name, worship him, for the Lord is as dear to you as a mother and father. He is a most wonderful treasure of the heart. He has appeared in his incarnation only for your sake, to give up all your sinful activities and surrender to such a merciful Lord." Hearing their voices, the two triumphs lifted their heads, their eyes bloodshot with rage, understanding that their voices belonged to the sannyasis. They cried out in anger, catch them, and prepared to grab them. So Haridas Nityananda hastily retreated upon being chased by the two yelling drunks, whose cries were nasty and fearsome to the two sannyasis. So the crowd started speaking. We warned them before, but they would not heed us, and so now they find themselves in a fearful situation. However, inside themselves, the atheistic person derived pleasure out of this, and maliciously thought these charlatans are being properly punished by Lord Narayan. The pious Brahmanas cried out, "O Lord Krishna, save them, save them." All fled the place in fear. The two rogues were now chasing the two saints, and although they cried out, catch them, they were still not near them. Nityananda said, "My dear Vaishnava Haridas, we have got ourselves into a fine mess. We can call ourselves lucky if we came out of this alive." Thakur Haridas replied, "O Lord, what is the use of talking, acting on your advice? We now face unnatural or violent death. On account of you, we have given instruction on the holy name of Krishna to those two faithless drunkards. Now we are earning our due reaction and punishment, death." So we have to understand also one thing that may clear up this a little bit. How can Nityananda come in such situation? How Haridas can come in such situation? Because this is the pastime of the Lord. Who is Nityananda? Balaram. Haridas is eternal member of Vaikunta also. And who is this Jagai and Madhai? They are Jai and Vijay. They are not ordinary drunkards. They have extra beard. They wanted to be again in the pastime of the Lord. As they appeared before as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha and other two times. And they said, "We will come the next incarnation you have come, and we will also want to take, because we are very enjoying your pastimes in this way." So they were Jai and Vijay. They are eternal, the guards of Vaikunta. So they just played this. This is the Yoga Maya. Just we should not take it as an ordinary pastime that they could beat Nityananda or Haridas, or even if they, it is everything controlled, it's everything, it is a lila of the Lord. So speaking in this manner, Lord Nityananda and Haridas continued to run, laughing gleefully, while the two rogues chased after them, hurling loud abuse. The drunk's bodies were ugly and fat. The movement was difficult. Yet they continued to run after Haridas and Nityananda, shouting, "Oh brothers, where do you think you can go? How will you escape? Jagai and Madhai today. You seem to not know that Jagai and Madhai move about in this area, so stay a while and get acquainted with this place nicely." So these words further spurred on Haridas and Nityananda. They kept chanting, "Save us, Krishna, save us, Krishna. Oh Govinda." Chaitanya. Haridas said to Nityananda, "Lord Krishna saved me sometimes back from the cruel hands of my Muslim tormentors. But today, due to my companion's restless nature and lack of mature intelligence, I am about to face my final end." So said telling Nityananda. Lord Nityananda replied, "You are incorrect. This restlessness is not my real nature. It is manifesting in this manner due to the spiritual ecstasies of your master, Sri Chaitanya. Although he is a Brahmana, he is laying orders like some king. His orders we go from door to door. Although I have never heard of anyone else giving such kind of orders. In the process of executing his order, our only remuneration is harsh, abusive words and false accusation by the people. We do not carry out his orders, then we are finished. And if we do, then this present dilemma is our answer. As for blaming someone for all this, you single me out. But in fact, your master has also a share in this. So, time is there any question or any? We can continue. Next. Please. Anything clear? Pastime of the Supreme Lord is not easily. With material, mundane conception, we cannot understand it. And we have to understand also all the Parampara succession coming from Lord Chaitanya. This is also called Lila. It's the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda. So we are part of it, one at least. Some of us may, who have understood. It is only temporary, like Jagai and Madhai. We are part of this. We should not be afraid of anything. The Lord will always protect us. Can one follow this? Is this? Could be like this. For materialists, it will not be so easily to accept, because of their mundane visions, of their mundane understanding. They do not understand what is this world. This world is just a short moment. And our real life is, we cannot experience. Now we think we are getting born and we die. But in reality, the pure Vaishnava, the members of the spiritual world, they are not get born or die. It is a pastime of the Lord. They are always under the protection. And when they leave this world, they should not be afraid. Because we will meet all our friends who are coming again and again and helping Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to distribute the holy name and to invent the Yuga Dharma, the religion of this Kali Yuga. Very hard we have to deal. But it's also very easy because this Kali Yuga is like terrible. But we still think it is nice. They tell us. It is, you just go to make holiday in Gran Canaria, then you will enjoy. Like if you read these newspapers, this is like Bhagavatam. Hellish planet. And all they promise you, you just enjoy. You spend your energy for a few who are getting benefit, material benefit, but they are not getting benefit. They get more and more entangled in this material world. Terrible. So we can close here. It's time. Jai Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Bhagavata ki Jai. Jai Shri Gurudev Nityalil Vaishnava Vishnupad. Paramahamsa Gacharya Stota Shastri Srimad Bhakti Vaibhava. Puri Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Antakalpata